Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 252. SEMA, and you guessed it, more SEMA. Here we go.
It's a dream for me, man. This truck's probably 3-4 years has been in my head, but once we got the chassis, the chassis landed in December, and so between December and now, it came to fruition. So we hadn't started doing anything on it until then. So the dream finally came out of my head, and it's sitting right here in front of us.
Damn, son. Seeing is believing, and our title sponsor, United Pacific, makes seeing a whole lot easier. The crispness of the United Pacific LED headlights, taillights, marker lights, and more makes seeing and showing your truck that much better. It's time to upgrade your old dim halogens for new LED headlights, taillights, and more. They offer the brightest and latest LED technology. Headlights are available up to 1600 lumens, easy to install, and it fits right in the OEM housing. How about upgrading to sequential taillights? They're DOT approved and ready to ship today. DOT approved. And for you 73 to 80 GMC and Chevy square body guys, they've got the new front parking lights, LED with stainless steel bezel. Think UP Car Parts. That's upcarparts.com.
Let me tell you what Melvin's Toast is packing right here. I've got 411 Posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth clapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
What is up, C10 Nation? How about a little SEMA coverage? I was up, I was down, I was all around, moving and shaking, having a great time, some amazing builds. We got a lot of good content coming your way. So we got a post-SEMA show episode, and then a little bit of pre-Dino. We're right in between there. Get Down is just around the corner, so getting you caught up to everything SEMA, and then we'll have another episode and some coverage from the Get Down, the 12th annual Dino's Chevy Only Get Down, Glendale, Arizona. All right, let's jump into SEMA. Man, was there some amazing builds there this year. I tell you what, the bar, I feel like, has jumped 3-4 steps. I mean, the interiors on these builds, the metal work that's on these builds, the paint, the whole thing, the aftermarket, the builders, the owners, the guys doing everything, hell, sweeping the floors. Everybody's stepping it up, and it's pretty awesome to see. The good thing is a lot of these builds are going to turn around and just head south and go to Glendale. So we should be able to see a lot of these builds, and I'm sure there's going to be some killer builds that aren't necessarily SEMA builds or debuting at SEMA that might be doing the same thing, debuting at the Get Down. So look forward to it. A couple of the trucks that really caught my eye, Levi Green from Hammer Fab had a 6768 that was the metalwork. It's in metalwork. I did some video, but don't have an actual interview with Levi. I will get him on. This truck is a stunner. We've got Ricky Hawley we're going to talk to with his 79 K5 unibody Blazer truck Lolita. Twisted Terry with the 76 GMC Jimmy. Brian Val with his crew cab square body dually. Layin Pinch. Pretty Penny. We've got Cato, his square, Cato's custom upholstery, super retro rad, Boogie Nights, the Hills yellow crew cab. That was a looker. C10 Nation Day. Thank you to all that were able to make it out Thursday, 11 o'clock, United Pacific. The Jimmy was there. Terry was there. Sarah was there. We had a great time. United Pacific, always supporting us. C10 Nation Day. Did a little live thing there, so you can jump on C10 Talk if you didn't get a chance to check that one out. I do appreciate all the support. How about the Legend Series from Roadster Shop? Dude, this thing is so rad. Chassis, all the suspension, your motor, your drivetrain, your transfer case. They're going to do four-wheel drives. And you take your body, pop it on, you're good to go. Legend Series. Pretty badass. Speaking of Roaster Shop, was able to check out their 88 OBS CK truck that they did for Good Guys. It's a giveaway truck for Columbus, Ohio next year. Holy shit, this thing was so retro rad. All the right moves, all the right upgrades, the stance, the motor, the bike in the back. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, go over to OBS Talk, and I did a couple videos over there, and it also be at the Get Down. I'm sure it's going to be at Good Guys the following week too here in Scottsdale, but it'll be at the Get Down. They're going to give away posters, some magazines. They did a great job, and they got a ton of really cool stuff to give away. So all these audio interviews, there's a corresponding video to go with it with some B-roll. So I'll put that on YouTube, obviously make some social media clips. Hopefully we can start rolling those out in the next few days. I know everybody's coming out for the Get Down right now. I want to get this out. We got about a day left. Hopefully you guys can get some pod in as you're traveling. Hopefully everybody's traveling safe to and fro. We know some people are coming super far. Georgia, North Carolina, Arkansas, up, down, the Cali guys, the Oregon, Washington. I can't wait for the Get Down. It is going to be a monster year, 2022. You got Veterans Day on Friday, so many different activities, so many things going on. I put a little cheat sheet together on the C10 Talk IG page and Facebook. So Thursday, you've got a few different pre-parties. Obviously, the Tray 5 Eye Candy pre-party. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th year that they've done this. That's going to be at the shop, Tray 5 shop. Get on over to his IG, and you can get all the details. That's going to be Thursday the 10th, 5:30 to 9 o'clock in Peoria. Now, for the first time out on the east side, they're having the kickback. So that's going to be at the Chupacabra Tap Room in Mesa, Arizona, downtown from 5 to 10. Hit up Big Homie Customs. I think it's his birthday bash, and they're calling it the kickback 5 to 10. So this is the first time on that side of town. All right, so that's Thursday, your pre-show. I'm sure some different shops and some different things will be happening. All right, so the show opens Friday, 9 to 9, 9A to 9P. What's going on? 10 o'clock, they're going to do a national anthem. It is Veterans Day. 11 o'clock, Roaster Shop's giving away the posters and the magazines. So 11:11 at 11. 11:11, there's a wedding. So obviously 11:11 at 11:11, somebody's getting married. 4 p.m., we're doing the raffle truck. So that's the truck where we sold 500 tickets for Chief's truck, and we've already sold out, and we're going to raffle that off from the booth. I'll be live on IG, and that is at 4 p.m. Friday. So kind of wrapping up the day there, we're going to give that truck away. All right, Saturday, the big day. Dino's going to give away the motor at high noon. So how do you get the motor? You roll in. You get a ticket. Friday, you can get a ticket. Saturday, you can get a ticket. And you get a chance to win an LT4, probably about $25,000 setup. You got to take it home with you. Noon, Chevy only, Dino's booth, the motor raffle. 3 p.m., Auto Metal Direct, AMD Square Body Metal Body Giveaway. So they're going to give away their kind of their showcase truck. It's a 7374 Square Body Shorty, and they're going to give it away. So you could essentially win the truck, put the motor in it. You need a frame, hit one of the frame companies up, some wheels, some tires, and you're ready to rock. Sunday's events, nothing. Go home. Be safe. Drive safe. Thanks for an amazing weekend. I look forward to it, and we want you to get home safe. And you can listen to the pod. So you can listen to this pod. You can listen to me talk about SEMA on the way home if you didn't get a chance to listen to 252 on the way out. All right? I think that's it. The 12th annual Get Down's right around the corner. SEMA was a blast. Thank you for everybody that took time to let me interview them and put a mic in their face. We had a great week. Very, very busy. I think we averaged about 15 to 17,000 steps a day. SEMA's huge. If you guys ever get a chance to make it out, it is absolutely monstrosity. You're just running and gunning. So much to see, so much to do. So it's always good to catch up with the people as well. All right, guys, safe travels out. If you're not able to make it to the Get Down, I hope everything's well. We'll have some Get Down coverage to bring you as well. So after you wrap up the SEMA coverage, we'll have some Get Down interviews. And this kind of wraps us up for the year, which is nice. There's a few other holiday things and some toy drives. But from the show perspective, this kind of takes us out for the year. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. Late. What's up? What's up? SEMA 2022, Twisted T-Rose, Terry Rose, 1976, GMC Jimmy. You guys were here, I think, at 15 with Domino.
We were, yes.
And you're back. You've had, what is it, an 8-year hiatus?
7-year hiatus,
7 year?
yeah.
I mean, I know, I got the math, but I feel like we might have skipped a year in there.
That's right.
So you made it back. I know, I think I remember when you sent me the picture of this thing, and you're like, hey, dude, I can't wait to work on this. But did you think you were going to be here? Was it your goal to be at SEMA?
You know, that wasn't the original goal, but I'll tell you what, once we started doing a little bit of the restoration, a little bit of rust repair on it, well, we sold Domino. And I love the car scene, the truck scene, and I've quickly found myself out of it. I was like, I didn't have a truck. So it really stepped up the build on this one. We kind of changed gears and said, you know what? We're going to go full show on this one. Now, it wasn't the ultimate goal to get it to SEMA, but it was always kind of that thought. And then my builder, Chris England, had never had a vehicle at SEMA, and I was like, what a better time. Let's get him out here, and it's been amazing. So
amazing. And I've got to think that the response to what you guys built, for you guys, we're going to shoot some video, but probably, if not one of the baddest square body two-wheel drive Blazers out there, Jimmy's. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And the paint, it's popping. You're in the United Pacific booth. The colors match. The lights look good. The interior looks great. You guys did an amazing job.
Yeah, it turned out, I mean, it absolutely blew away my expectations. So we had a vision on what the build wanted to be. My wife, Sarah, and I, we ended up coming up with a twisted name early on. We knew we wanted stock outside. We knew we wanted high tech. We wanted the performance chassis. We wanted the power with the LS, and then we wanted an interior that would just blow everybody away. And the guys at Chris England Concepts and the guys at Mobile Toys killed it. They hit exactly our vision, pulled it all together, and I'll tell you, the finished product looks better than kind of what we originally envisioned ourselves. So yeah, it's been fantastic and super well received out here this week.
You said shout out to Sarah, his wife Sarah. It's a team effort and obviously even a family effort, right?
Oh,
the boys, yeah. It's cool because you had Domino 1968, and you can only fit 3 people in that. Well, now you can fit 4 people in the Jimmy. You've got the boys at home. Maybe. Depends on how big they are, how tall.
That's right.
But I think that was the initial concept.
That
was probably how Terry sold it to the family. We're going to get a Blazer. We can put all 4 of us in there and have a great time. So I think it's cool that the family's behind you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely so. The boys, the boys are younger. They're 14 and 15. You got to be 16 to come into the SEMA show. They would have loved to have been here with us. And I'm going to have them out here. At some point, we're going to bring them out here because they know how we are about the SEMA show and how we feel about it. And they want to experience it too. So they're very excited about coming out. And you're right, it has been very much a family affair when we've done this. Sarah's been very involved on the decisions on how the colors that we picked, how the interior looked, just everything about it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So,
hey, for you guys out there, if your wife's cool with it, get her involved with it because happy wife, happy life, right? But it also makes that whole experience even that much better in that family affair. You said that an interior to knock it out of the park or to the next level, I don't even, you got to see it to believe it type deal where you've said that to people where it's like, hey, I could tell you all about how awesome Mobile Toys is and MTI and what they did and Chris and his crew, but if you don't get out here to see it,
right,
you're not going to believe it. So you guys, I got to feel even as the owner that you even are a little blown away with that interior.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we had a vision, and I got to watch it. It took about 6.5 months to kind of build, and they sent me images of the week's work every Monday. And as it was kind of progressing through and everything that we saw, I saw it coming together. And we were very fortunate. So 2 days ago, we actually won the TMI Trim Awards for the most creative interior. So I'm up on stage with Kevin, and he's hosting the thing, and he's asking me about it. And basically all I could say was just that. Guys, come down and see it. Words really don't put it into perspective, how they were able to carry this out and what they were able to achieve with it. We wanted high tech. We found a lot of images online between the GMC Hummer, some concept vehicles, and then we ran across the Rivian. And we just loved the look to it. So I sent some images to the installer, said this is what I'm looking for, and being the creative genius that he is, he nailed it, and we love it. And the response has been phenomenal.
The balance is perfect. It looks like something that's the flow, when you drive it. So I look forward to you putting a lot of miles on this thing, and then kind of getting that feedback, because that shakedown, seeing how it all kind of comes together. But the bottom line is congratulations on an amazing week at SEMA. You and your team, Chris and Sarah, you guys just killed it out here. We had C10 Nation Day out here Thursday. The response has been absolutely stunning for you and your Blazer and your Jimmy and Twisted. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Loved having you out here with us this week, having C10 Nation Day out here, and that just added to it. It made it even more special, so thank you, brother.
Thanks, dude. Late. When you have a truck at SEMA and you've got a picture of yourself, you're doing pretty good. Hey, guys, we've got Cato from Cato Customs, and we've got Boogie Nights. This is one bitchin' groovy build, dude. So let me put the poster down. Love this truck. Been checking it out all week, and I had no clue that you were doing what you were doing, and so this is pretty rad. Tell us a little bit about this, bro.
So we're just running stock chassis, QA1 suspension, running a 6.2 LT in it with an 8-speed, all auto metal direct parts on it. So just a good running, good driving, just a killer little ripper truck, man.
All the stuff he said, I don't even know that we really care about, because I care about the paint, I care about the stripes, I care about the trike in the back, I care about the vibe, and that's why you have attracted a lot of people to this truck, and including all of your interior parts. So what you've done is, I like how you talk about the metal and the chassis and it rides, but that's not on anybody's mind.
All right. You want to talk about the paint? So the paint was based off the Halibran wheels that we got from Holly here. We just pulled the green out of it, which ended up being a Chrysler interior color, which we really don't know what it's called. So if anybody wants to come up with a name with it, let me know. But the thing is to bring into like the Ford vibe, because Ford had such great graphics in the 70s and still kind of traditional placement with the Chevy, and then make it different enough where it's still a C10, but it's a different C10. It's not your reds, your blues, your typical colors. So it's something that will grasp your eye and bring you back to like, oh man, that's pretty groovy, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, you named it Boogie Nights. So I mean, I think once you got that vibe down, and for you guys that might be as old as me, I had a refrigerator, I had a stove, and I'm sure a bunch of Tupperware that was all avocado green growing up. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you nailed that 70s vibe.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Well, I guess you call it avocado, avocado vibe.
We just named the truck because Cato's Customs, avocado, guacamole, holy moly guacamole. Hey, Boogie Nights. So what was your thoughts on that?
On the name, what do you want to know? You know who named it? Eddie. Eddie Sabreco, from Blood Drags and everything else Eddie's involved in. He's like, Cato called me one night. He's like, it's 11 o'clock, and if you know Eddie, he sleeps in all the time. He's like, dude, I got a name. It's like Boogie Nights, because you're always dancing and just having fun. And I'm like, I love it. Let's do it. Yeah. And so that's how it came about.
And I think your sticker vibe or graphic vibe really kind of adds to that Boogie Nights pop to it, so it really does blend together. Yep. What was your thoughts on throwing the trike back there?
The trike was more a tribute to my buddy Rob. He builds these all the time. He's up in Seattle, Washington, and I'm like, Rob, dude, I really want to build. Same year, same kind of cool vibe to it, because everybody knows if you had a 3-wheel back in the 70s, everybody has a story, and we've heard a ton of them over the weekend here at SEMA, which is super rad. And they're like, oh man, I broke my foot or my collarbone, and they're showing me scars and stuff. So it was just kind of like one of those funny things that like, let's just do it. It's cool.
If you survived it, you probably have a good accident story to talk about your little 3-wheeler or your little 80, your little 75. Yep. Let's I think one of the biggest things is your interior stuff on this. So let's check this out real quick.
Check it out. So we have a lot of production parts coming out in January for C10 trucks, which is exciting. We've kind of put teasers out with the Good Guys giveaway truck and things like that. So we'll have the consoles come out, which I don't have one unfortunately in here because we ran out of them. We've got the lower door panel parts, the door panels that we've extended out to put the pocket in and get rid of that floppy pocket that everybody hates anyway, which is useless, but still has that very C10 vibe to it. We're running this.
So before you leave the door panels, this vibe right here is more like 81 to 87. Will you keep this same, like if somebody orders these, are they looking at this grab handle, or is there going to be a change up? Like, how we have a few different eras within square bodies?
That's correct. I think it's just going to be due to what they asked for, but your main production parts will just be based off the 81 through 87 doors, and then eventually we'll get to the the earlier models, because the dashes change, the doors obviously change.
And you can put a different insert here and make it look kind of old school, right? You could give it that flair if that's what you're looking to do.
And on these doors too, is what's cool about it is we lowered the door pocket down about 3/4 of an inch. That way you can still use the window crank and use the just electric windows if you prefer. So it's kind of more convenient to it. And two, adds a little depth, when you can see that color there. So, just some little things that are different, but what I consider, stylistic to the truck. So you don't want to go outside of it because, there's a big following in the C10 culture, and you don't want to go too far out in left field on it.
Thank God for that. Because, the bottom line is just like this little tricycle here, you think about it, we all love these trucks for a reason. If you go too far out, you start to get away from that, and then it's not really what you thought it was. Even though you've blended the Ford stripes and the vibe and the funk and all that, you've nailed it, because less or not going too far can be the most important thing.
Absolutely. There's that super fine line when it comes to any design aspect, and you can see it, in a lot of trucks you'll see they're just really kind of out there, and it just, not to me, it's not a C10 anymore. It's just some custom that's really, and I mean, I appreciate them, but let's stick to what we know, and that's cool trucks, and stick to the tradition that Chevy come up with for all those years, and that's what it's about.
Well, one of the things that Chevy came up with was a door that was solid at the bottom, and what everybody did back then was cut holes in it, and you've already done that for us. So is this another option, another product you guys are going to be making?
Yeah, the lower door panel here, it's a 1-inch piece of this machinable foam that we use. It has the insert for your speaker here. All you have to do is cut the hole in your door and then put it on. So it's a little bit of work, but definitely stylistic, and it's thin enough to go in where it's not big and bulky, where you have this big old pod of a speaker out, and we're still running kicker audio in here, and it's a jammy little system. So
any other interior parts that you guys are making that you guys wanted to kind of showcase?
Well, I definitely want to showcase the steering wheel, but I don't produce this, but I love it. It's a Spark Industry steering wheel, which, if you know about these guys, he makes killer stuff, and that's the run of it now. And then the console, but again, I don't have one in here because we ran out of them, but they'll definitely be available in January. So keep an eye out, and we'll be posting all that on social media to keep that, everybody up and informed of what's going on.
Okay, last thing here, these mirrors. I think you did a great job. These mirrors, they kind of go with that same form like what you're saying. You're like, hey, do I stay with a GM mirror? Do I go to something else? And you got a really killer mirror on here. I like how you said earlier, even with the trim, you're like, do I keep it shiny? Do I keep it kind of more billety? Yep. You guys went with this and painted it up.
That's right, and it's absolutely a billet part. This whole thing is all aluminum, but again, paint it, let it blend in. So let the whole truck be the accent of everything. But then when you really start looking at it, you see all those fine details, and especially C10 guys, they notice those special details of what's going on. They're like, oh yeah, I like that. So these came from BBT Fabrications out of Mahomet, Illinois, which if you know those guys, they've done Muscle, Machine of the Year, Street Rod of the Year, all these big builds. So they definitely produce a ton of great parts for these trucks too. So
love it. Boogie Nights. For a guy who has stripes on his trucks, or a guy who likes stripes on his trucks, I like this truck. Cato, thanks for taking time to be with us. Absolutely, and man. Love the build. I think the response has probably been just absolutely phenomenal for you this week. Yeah. Keep it up. And if you guys want the console, you want the interior parts, get a hold of him. Cato's Customs on IG and online.
Yep, Cato Custom Upholstery on IG, and then Facebook, same thing. Just hit us up if you got any questions or any other requests you want to do, and just see what's coming out in January. We got bigger things, I just can't talk about it, so it's going to be awesome.
Stay tuned. Late. Hey guys, I've got Joe Road, Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
Yeah, CPP's one of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece.
As you know, Joe, so many guys are building bigger trucks, bigger wheels, bigger brakes, everything bigger and better. Is this X10 something they should be considering?
Oh, absolutely. It's oversized bearings. Definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
All right, guys, there you go. If you're looking to upgrade, you need a new spindle anyways, you're going to lower your truck, you're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake, CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com. Hey, guys, how about a happy 10-year anniversary to the team at Pro Performance? For 10 years, Travis and his team have provided their customers the best products on the market for our trucks. They sell Dakota Digital, Bear Brakes, Boyd Welding, QA1, Vintage Air, and more. They're your one-stop shop for all your truck part needs, stocking fast-moving items to help with production delays. So think Pro Performance when you are creating that parts list for your build. azproperformance.com. That's azproperformance.com. Hey guys, are you about that life? That air it out lifestyle? You know how good those laid out rides look, right? Well, AccuAir offers premium air suspension solutions for you and your ride. They have products in stock ready to ship, or you can buy from your favorite dealer. So give them a follow on social media for any product updates and anything new coming out in the future. AccuAir.com. It's that easy. AccuAir.com.
All right. We got some theme music with Lolita. So, hey, I'm back with Ricky. I want to make sure we had good audio, and I want to talk to him about Lolita, his unibody 79 C10, if you will, right? So, if you know Ricky's previous builder with Charlie Brown, The Grinch, but this is your first SEMA. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, as always, for taking time to share the story with us. Tell us a little bit about Lolita.
Well, Lolita, it started out as a 79 Blazer, and we decided to make it a unibody. So we took a 79 Blazer and we took an 85 square body pickup, and we just merged the two together and we made a unibody truck.
What was your thoughts on why to do that? Was it something that you were inspired by something else? You like the unibody Fords? You've seen other guys do it with like the 67, 72s, or just something to be a little different?
Yeah, well, it was just to be different. Robert from Alamo Customs, we got together and he was like, man, I've never seen a square body unibody. So we just decided, well, let's be the first one to do it.
Acme Chassis, you got all the right people behind you. Obviously, you've got Mobile Toys, and you guys just, that combination of Ricky Hawley, the Hawley Boys, the Alamo Customs, and then MTI, you guys are killing it.
Yes, sir. MTI, I mean, they did a phenomenal job on the interior. Actually, we took Best Custom Truck Interior at SEMA, so that's like a real big deal, and we're real proud of that.
Breaking hearts, necks, and records. Lolita, Raceline wheels, Bear brakes?
Willwood brakes.
Willwood brakes. What about all the different kind of accents? Your handles, your mirrors, your labeling, your emblems, your trim. Everything is just so tastefully done. Where'd you get all that from? Did you make some of that in house?
Well, most of that's UPC. There are the emblems. I mean, the trim and all that's from them. Well, no, Marquet is the trim. But the headlights and the mirrors and all that is from UPC. The bumpers and the trim, everything is painted. It's not actually brushed. We actually painted that to look brushed. I mean, the wood bed, that's actually painted, but it's painted to look like bed material. But so Robert, I think he did a good job on all of that.
Yeah. Okay. And the trim, you talked a little bit about the Marquet trim. Orange on the inside. So usually we see yellow on a 77. And you put the orange on it, that might be the 79 Customs one-off special with that.
Yes, sir. Actually, Pixelworks, I had Pixelworks actually wrap that because we couldn't find a color to match the wheels and the interior, so we actually wrapped that to try to bring everything together we had to get the right colors, to make it all work together.
So this is, you're no stranger to these very high-end builds. What was some of the struggles that you guys had with this build?
Some of the struggles were, just trying to get all the colors, all of the shops, and just everybody to work together on a time schedule so we can try to make it here to SEMA. But I think everybody, as far as Alamo Customs, Dropsaurus, MTI, everybody did a great job.
For sure. How about the color? It's kind of a candy apple, looks like it. Is that something where you knew when you had the vision of this unibody, you were going to go with this style color?
Yes, we had that color from the get-go. And actually, Robert, he special mixed that color. It's not a candy. It's actually a base coat, clear coat that he mixed to look just like a candy.
Oh, it looks great. And then you went with the cream versus the white, really accents it all together. And the metal work, and then it looks like the interior metal stuff like the bed looks a little bit more flat versus the exterior.
Yes. We kind of wanted some of the parts to kind of be flat and some of the parts to be shiny, so it would kind of make the shine pop a little more.
All right. Speaking of pop, check out this interior. So tell us a little bit about your interior, Ricky. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. It's nothing that we've ever seen before. From a square body perspective, it's unique.
Yeah, it's actually Apex leather. And like I say, Chris and the guys at MTI, they did the custom dash. They did the custom molded floors. I mean, everything pretty much in here is custom handmade by Chris, and I think that it turned out perfect.
Oh, it turned out phenomenal. How much shakedown have you had with Lolita?
Probably about 2 hours. And
2 hours.
Just getting ready for SEMA. You know, we just let it run for a while, and we probably had a 10-minute drive to come in. So, and I mean, everything worked great. You know, the truck ran fine, no overheating issues. So I think everything's fine.
Okay. How about Ignited? Are you whipping it out of here tonight?
We still deciding. We hadn't decided yet. So we may do it, but we still have to do like the breakdown of the boost and all that type of stuff. So we're going to decide before it's time to go, we're going to do it.
Okay, and where can we see this next? Where are you going?
It'll be at the Houston Autorama. I think that is Thanksgiving weekend in Houston, Texas. Yes, sir.
You better get your trophy case, get some spots open.
I cleared out all the old stuff and made room for the new stuff.
You are going to win a lot of awards with this. I'm telling you, has it been shot yet?
No, it hasn't been shot yet.
Okay, yeah. It's only going to be a matter of time. I love the unibody where, you know, you look at that gap. We're used to seeing that, and then no stake pockets. Has anybody come up to it and been surprised and not realized that it's a unibody and thinking this is a square body, this is a truck, and like, oh shit, that's not what I thought it was?
Actually, the judges for the HRA Association, they came over and they did the judging of the truck. You know, we were sitting around talking, and somebody came up and was like, what's that unit 10 for? And I said, oh, it's a unibody truck. And the judges were like, oh, we didn't even know this was unibody. You know, so they were like, wow, we got to rejudge this thing. So they didn't even know it was unibody. So a lot of people, they missed the unibody, but that's how we wanted it. We wanted to kind of look just stock on the outside where you really couldn't even really tell of the unibody.
A lot of times, you know, people, they don't get it all done, and they've got a 10% left, and then they, you know, get back home. Are you done, or do you still got a few things you want to wrap up?
No, it's pretty much done. I mean, stereo's playing, everything's wired up, brake lights work, turn lights, signal lights, so it's pretty much ready to go.
Well, between now and Thanksgiving, Houston Autorama, I hope you get some shakedown with it. I hope you have a blast, and you enjoy the fruits of your labor. And like I said, get that trophy case opened up, because I think Lolita's going to bring a lot of hardware home, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, and burnouts in the parking lot later.
Burnouts in the parking lot later. Ricky Holly Boys. You guys can check them out online. Obviously, Alamo Customs, MTI, everything that goes on. You've got Marquet Precision. You got the best of the best in this. Again, congratulations on your interior award and all the awards to come, Ricky. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Pretty Penny. Man, what a hot truck. I've got Daniel Stewart, signature performance. You got to be on cloud nine. I mean, this truck is just, it's so awesome. So thank you for taking time to shoot some content, some video with us, and talk about your 67, 68 C10. I love it. And welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
You got it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your truck, brother.
All right. So, you know, building vehicles is something I've been doing for a long time, and own Signature Performance in Costa Mesa. I've built a lot of lifted trucks, built some side-by-sides, but this vehicle's personal for me. I told my wife when I was going to hit my 10 years sober that I was going to build my dream truck, which is the C10. Yeah. And so for my 9 years sober, we had a surprise party at my house, and then she also surprised me with my dream truck. So for the last 2 years-ish, we've been working on this truck, and really happy to display it here in the TMI booth.
What a rad story. And I don't want to jump ahead, but I hope he gets a C20, you know, for the 20 years sober. But we've got some time to figure that one out. Maybe a K20. We'll see what happens. But congratulations nonetheless.
Thank you.
Tell us about the journey on the build, because, I mean, this thing is absolutely stunning. It's cool that you have that background in the automotive world, but you did all the right moves. You know what I mean? The color and the way you put it all together in your team. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure. So when we first got the truck, obviously I hadn't done much planning. So it was like, well, let me just enjoy it for a minute.
Let me interrupt real quick. When you got the truck, what kind of truck did you get for your for your reward.
Sure. So it was a original 1970 GMC original short bed truck.
Good shape.
And great shape.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Great shape. Motor wasn't running real well, so we spent 3 or 4 days getting it running enough to where I could drive it around the block, but it definitely was not reliable. And I said, oh, all right, well, I'll spend a little more time working on the motor. But in the meantime, I got to do the suspension, tires, and wheels. I got to get this thing sitting right.
I own Signature Performance. I got to make this thing look rad ass.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing stays stock in anything. Absolutely, right? So that's what we're here for. So I said, oh, I'll just see what guys are doing for an inexpensive airbag job, And so I was popping around on some forums, talking to some guys, and the guy's like, hey, I have a frame that I started, but not really interested. So I had to call my wife a week and a half in and say, hey, babe, I know you got me the truck, but I also have a frame that I'm going to start from the ground up. And she says, that's fine, but you're going to do that in the garage at home because you're not going to spend all the time at the shop. My wife is an industry person as well. She worked at K&N for 12 years. She knows probably more about motors than me. So we got to do a lot of this stuff together, and my buddy Sean. So we started with building the frame in the garage. And it's got a Porter-built 4-link rear.
With stock frame, and then you guys added some components to it.
Yes, okay. So it's a stock frame. It's got a Porter-built 4-link conversion in the rear, and it has a Porter-built cross member drop in the front.
Okay, so that's stage 1, level 1, full cross member, and control arms and everything.
Yes, okay. Upper and lower arms, as well as the LS brackets. At that point, I said, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So I also opted for a Curry 9-inch rear end, 370 gear ratio, along with the Detroit True Track in the rear. And then to finish out the front, I went with the Willwood drop spindles, along with the Willwood big brake kit, 6-piston in the front, along with the Willwood disc brakes in the back.
So everything under this beautiful metal is awesome and ready to rip. Yes. Then you guys got together and you said, we're going to paint it a dark, like the darkest cherry, and then put some sprinkles in it, or what? Who picked the color and the whole copper and it all coming together? Because it definitely works.
Yeah, so for the 10-year medallion in Alcoholics Anonymous, it's black and gold or black and copper. And so the original idea was to have the push button, the AA medallion. And so that's kind of where the color started. We went through a lot of ideas on how to get to where we're at. I knew in my heart I wanted a modern hot rod looking truck. So I wanted modern features. I want a lot of electronics, a lot of electronic features. I wanted LED lights, and I wanted some of the new, like the flush mount glass, removal of the rain gutters, shaving of the handles. Yet I kept in the bed, I kept a working tailgate. Even though it's shaved, it's still a working tailgate. The head of the bed is stock, yet the sides are all welded smooth and shut. So I tried to find a combination. That's why I kept bumpers, front and rear as well.
Cool. Well, you brought it all together, and the thing about it is, as we evolve as a community and guys are kind of pushing that envelope, and you're taking what GM gave you, you're doing the flush mount, you're doing the mirrors, right? I think they're kind of a Veneta Fab has them, right? So those look really cool. But one part he left out is that dash doesn't go with that truck.
No. So as if my wife didn't already set the bar for all you gentlemen in surprising me with the truck, that Christmas she got me the Holley 12.1 dash. And so I was already going the LS direction. I said, okay, we're going to do everything Holley. So this is Holley Terminator X, Holley harness. Every sensor is Holley. The intake manifold's Holley. Everything's Holley. And when I went to mock that dash up, it did not look right. And for me, it's got to be flow. It's got to be usable. And when going with that modern look, I know that all these new dashes are digital and they all sit back in a panel, right? And so they all sit in a hump. So I wanted to find a dash that had that old school. I could still paint it to match, yet have a new school look. So the dash is actually out of a 63 GMC Suburban that we cut out and molded in and then modified for the Holley to have a housing.
What would you say was one of the biggest struggles? You know, these builds don't always go perfect. Did you have some hiccups or some roadblocks along the way?
I did. Definitely the biggest struggle is the copper. This is the second set of wheels. The original set of wheels I redid 4 times. Could never get the copper right. 3.5 weeks before SEMA, I was able to partner with Evo 61 out of Huntington Beach. And the guys over there said, hey, look, we're going to do something one-off. So these wheels also are custom one-off. Nobody else has them. So we did a 3-piece 22 by 11 in the rear, 22 8.5 in the front. It's a copper outer lip, textured black center because we wanted some contrast against the paint, along with the copper bolts. And then they also machined the custom badging on the dash. So the Pretty Penny logo on the dash, you probably didn't see it, but if you drop the tailgate, it also has a custom copper Pretty Penny badge to tie in the bed when it's open. So really thankful for those guys. But the copper was a challenge. You know, in the beginning I was told by multiple copper places, you can't do this. You're not supposed to do this. Well, that's as good as we can get it. And we just kept pushing. And so everything from the slats in the bed are copper, the bumpers, the steering wheel, the door locks, pieces of the door handles. I bought 2 sets of brakes, gas and brake pedal. I stripped those apart so I could do a half gold, half black brake and gas pedal. I mean, really just tried to push the limit with the copper.
Well, we're glad you did, because it truly makes the truck. What you've done is a stunner. We love the truck. We love the name. And at the end of the day, I mean, congratulations on 10, which now I assume is plus years.
It is.
And then you're getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Have you had time to shake it down? Have you put a lot of miles on it? Or is it one of those SEMA crunches, get it here, and then kind of get a chance to take it out here in the next few weeks?
It's both. It is a SEMA crunch for sure. It wouldn't be, right? But I have drove it. And I will be driving it out. I will be driving it in the parade tonight. I do plan to go to Ignited tonight and share it with the other people that didn't get to come in and see it in the inside.
Awesome. Ignited, they're going to tear it out, take it out and tear it up, I should say. Hopefully it's you and Mama, because she's the one who got this thing for you, and hopefully you guys have a great Ignited. I just want to say thanks for taking the time, and again, congratulations on your sobriety, and absolutely love your truck. And if we could put it out more to the world, they need to see it. What's your next show? Where are you going next?
So maybe Dino's. We'll try to see. I got responsibilities with my daughter. She's competing. That comes first. But if you don't see it there, you for sure see it at the Grand National Roadster Show. I got invited to go there, and definitely some cars and coffee with all the guys, throughout Orange County, and definitely be at the Quarantine Cruise for sure.
There you go. So Daniel Stewart, signature performance. And we hope we get to see it next week, but we understand because being away from them kids is tough. Yeah. Congratulations again, you and Mama. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, guys, wrapping it up, SEMA. We're here Friday with Brian Val. Brian, we had you on the pod not too long ago, and you guys have been cranking on this truck. I remember when you first got it, talked to you about it on the podcast, and it's got to feel great for you to be here, and the response has probably been phenomenal. Every time I've been here, checking it out, there's been a lot of people around it.
It's a dream for me, man. This truck's probably 3-4 years has been in my head, and it took about 3 years to get the chassis. But once we got the chassis, the chassis landed in December, and so between December and now, it came to fruition. So we hadn't started doing anything on it until then. So yeah, now that we finally have that, now the dream finally came out of my head, and it's sitting right here in front of us. So yeah.
Did the dream change much? When you think about you have a build for 3 years, that whole process will start to change.
Yeah, I had a lot of other renditions in my head. At one point I wanted it all pearl white, and then we tossed around like a root beer and a pearl white, and then me and Frank and Jeremy were sitting around talking about different stuff, and I think either Frank or Jeremy came up with this blue, and then we started looking at it in the pearl white, and we just put the combination together, and it was just classic. So we just decided to go with that because I've had an orange one. Mickey's I just had a yellow truck, my square body, and Mickey's Blazer's blue, which is cool. It's flat, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, and so I'm generally not a blue guy. But when I saw this color, I was like, that blue is awesome. So yeah, let's do it. And I mean, obviously, it turned out fantastic. So yeah, I'm stoked with it.
It's funny because I think you and I, our color palettes a lot alike. I see what you have, what you own, and I kind of look at it, and we're kind of the same age. And it's like the oranges, but the blues were really a 70s color. You know, these trucks were really popular, and that blue was really popping. So you take what was in your mind, you made it, you put it all together here. It looked easy from social media. Was it 80-hour weeks? Was it SEMA crunch?
So it wasn't. Obviously, it wasn't me that built it. It was the crew. You know, my Tray 5 crew, Eye Candy crew, everybody else involved.
Some guy named Pio.
Some guy named Pio that kind of knows what he's doing. But there's a lot to this truck that you do not see that you just absolutely. You won't know unless you're a truck guy. You know, one of the biggest things is the full Porterbuilt custom frame. This truck actually lays rocker, which for these, anybody that's tried to lay one of these out knows that that's incredibly hard to do, to get it to lay rocker without having frame rails through the cab. Lots of different things happening. So when I got with Nate, that was one of the main things I wanted. I wanted it to lay frame. I wanted it to lay pinch, and then I wanted it to do that without having the cab floor channeled and everything else, so it looked right. So that was one of the big things, and we accomplished that. Putting the Cummins in there and having it on the ground with the huge oil pan and the turbos and everything else was another major project. The next major project was the Allison transmission to set up that high, and I mean literally the transmission tunnel is a half an inch away from the bottom of the dash. So we literally have a trans mountain in there, not a trans tunnel. So, and it was
we call those the doghouse in the fire truck, right? Because it's such a big area. And for you guys, the Allisons are huge. I mean, you think like even a 4L80, you look at how much that weighs. Allisons are just a monstrosity.
Yeah. So that with the Cummins, the Allison, and just keeping all that tucked, laying pinch, having everything underneath the stock sheet metal was just. It was a daunting task. Jeremy absolutely cussed building this truck from one end to the other from day one, just because we kind of called it the lowrider farm truck, because we basically built a lowrider that's a full-on diesel truck, and there's a lot of stuff that was hard to do in this. And then the frame, once we got it, frame had a little bit too much flex in it, so we had to go back to the drawing board with Nate, and he had his 3D guy redesign, do some braces, stuff like that to get it to where it's right. We're still crossing our fingers that when we hook a big gooseneck to it with 2 or 3 cars on it, that it does what it's supposed to do. But we're here at this point, so we made this goal. Yeah. So now we get to start shaking it down, figuring out if it's going to do what it's going to do, and hopefully it does what it's going to do. So that's the goal.
Well, and really, like you said, I mean, you had this dream. You're going to go through it. You're going to make adjustments as you go. Sure. Be cool to see some picture of you pulling, the Suburban or something like that. I'm sure you have some good visions. Yeah. That interior, I mean, I really love what you guys did there. Amazing work inside there.
Yeah, it was the interior turned out really good. We didn't have a rendering or anything. I knew that I wanted a tall console that went all the way through. So Steve at Elevated Design is our interior guy. We ordered the seats from Snowden. Snowden seats are stupid comfortable. So basically, Steve just built the interior around the seats, and I gave him some, high points. Hey, I want a tall console. I want cup holders. I want a few things. I want, a nice stereo in this thing. It's got 315s hidden in the console. I wanted the seats wrapped around in the back and molded in the back. So he just took my cues, and Steve just ran with it and knocked it out of the park. So you got involved in the interior. You got Steve from Elevated Design did the bulk of the work. D-Bomb wrapped the dash for us. Snowden custom seats, and then Empire Upholstery actually leather wrapped the GSI billet steering wheel. So that was kind of a cool piece that GSI got on board with us for and gave us that billet steering wheel. So it just kind of added, a little bit of elevation to it. So yeah.
Get it? Elevation, elevated concepts. Love the interior, love the color. The only thing they didn't do was the sunroof or the moonroof, because Mickey got that in the Suburban, so they kept that one out. But I do like the mini truck or farm truck, the mini hay baler, I guess. Overall, what would you say the response has been for you this week when you've been here by your truck? Again, every time I've come in, there's been people around it really admiring it. Where we're at, there's probably 10 vehicles, and everybody continually is around your vehicle.
Yeah, we're not in the best spot. I mean, we're not in the worst spot in the world, but we're kind of, as you come in the doors from in South Hall, from Central Hall. So unless you're looking for the truck, you got to come looking for it. Yeah. But in this area where it's in, I will say that every time I've come through the doors, it's been mobbed and a lot of other things haven't. And as far as, I've probably gotten 25 messages, where's your truck? I want it. Like, I'm here at SEMA. That is a truck that I want to see before I leave. So I've gotten really good at telling people how to get here from the Toyo Tread Pass. And then every time we come over here, it's getting a lot of positive attention. So I'm super happy. I mean, we're here. It turned out great. I couldn't ask for more support, from the scene. I haven't heard a negative comment about it yet. I'm sure there are some out there, but I haven't heard one. And I'm just blown away that it's here and it's finally out of my head and sitting in front of me. We drove it. Me and Mickey brought our RV up here and we stayed in an RV park about 7 miles away, and we drove it from there over here. 0 issues, shifted great, did everything like it should. So at least we got a little bit of time on it, and it did what it should. So.
And ignited? Are you going to drive it out tonight?
We'll see. We do have a little bit of an alternator issue. I'm popping a breaker, so we'll see how the voltage is hanging out. But maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But we got to get that handled.
And I know when we talked about on the podcast, it was going to be dummy low. You switched it up. I think the cue there is it cost maybe more than you thought, or you actually had to spend that money.
Well, it's one of those deals where it's a shop project, right? And so everybody has blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. And Jeremy and Frank are actually the guys that are sweating and getting bloody knuckles over this thing. And they kind of adopted the name Bankrupt because now me being part owner of Tray 5, obviously it sucked up some company funds.
You're bankrupt in the business, Brian.
So that's kind of that was the running joke. So I changed it from dummy low to Bankrupt to just because I thought those guys would appreciate it. So
yeah, it's awesome. And if you weren't able to see it here at SEMA, I hope this video is out before then, but next week, we will be a week from today. We'll be hanging out at Dino's, so you can come by the Tray 5 booth at Dino's and see it there, because we know for the most part, a low percentage of you are here and a higher percentage is going to be over there. So congratulations. Mickey's behind him. Thank you for putting up with Brian and the whole Tray 5 crew, and you did it. Congratulations. As a guy who's been in the scene as long as you have and a big supporter of everything we've done and our community, it makes us feel good that you have this vehicle out of your head and soon to be in the garage.
I'm stoked, man. It's just it's truly a dream come it's a dream come to reality for me. So that's it's been the first one that I've had of my own out in 4 years since my yellow truck, and this was one that I definitely have had in my head for a long time. I love dualies, I love all that stuff. So yeah, I just couldn't be happier to have it here. So
congratulations.
See everybody next week at Dino's.
See you guys. Thanks, Brian.
Cool, man. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, BrothersTrucks.com is your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration parts. So whether you are restoring an original or looking to customize that classic truck, BrothersTrucks.com has thousands of the highest quality truck parts for you to choose from. So head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today. And don't forget to follow Brothers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates and special offers too.
Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT-based power plant? We've got great news for you. PSI Conversion is offering our listeners 10% off your order. Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. And don't forget, use code C10TALK and save 10% today. You've heard me talk about my gauges, Dakota Digital. I love them. Don't forget the interior of your build. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. Whether you want a direct fit into the stock bezel or something custom. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. The new RTX series is really incredible. I think it stands for retro, but it should stand for rad. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. You can change the lighting colors, customize the reading in the message centers, and do it all from the mobile app. That's right, the HDX and RTX series have Bluetooth technology, so you can mess with them from your phone. I'm looking at RPM, trip odometer, percent fuel, oil pressure, and now I have the GPS set up. I can tell you direction, elevation, and even outside temp. Damn, son, it's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com. And you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook too. All right, guys, got to think like a Young Guns builder, Battle of the Builders, top 40, 1967, short bed 4x4. Tyler Adams out of Tucson. I'm calling him Tucson Tyler. It's a family affair over here at the Adams family. Get it? Yep. Tyler, tell us about your truck, brother.
So this is a 1967 Chevy that I actually found in an offer-up, or just an ad that was actually at a kayak, and then I saw in the background that it was the original owner's son that had it, so it's really just a two-family truck now. But yeah, I rebuilt it from the ground up.
Okay, hold on. So you were looking for a kayak on OfferUp, and in the background you saw a rare 1967 truck, and you probably didn't even realize it was a four-wheel drive.
No, I did not. I didn't even realize that it was like the guy told me there's only like 1,056 of these produced, and I was like, oh, I didn't really know a whole lot. And then I kind of him-hawed around. Then I texted the guy again. Then we made a deal on it, but I really didn't know what the truck truly was at the time. But I'm glad I was able to accidentally find it because there's not many of them out there.
No, not at all. And so I got to assume you drive up from Tucson, for you guys, Tucson to Phoenix, about an hour and a half. You pick it up, you got to be tickled all the way home. And I can imagine that vision and this build plan was coming together on your hour and a half trip home.
Oh, yeah, I definitely had the vision because my first truck was the 67, and then I painted a truck this similar color in a GMC. So I definitely wanted the 67 in this color combo. So it kind of had everything kind of worked out in my head because, you always have multiple plans for a single truck, and you just need more trucks and more time to build them all.
Well, more time, full-time college student, and you're only 20?
21.
21, and you're already here representing and winning top 40, so that's got to feel really good.
No, it feels great to be at the show. Just I didn't really build the truck for the show. I just kind of built it for myself, and then be able to enter the competition and then come here has opened up a lot of opportunities.
Cool. How's the week been for you?
I've spoke with a lot of cool vendors, learned a lot, kind of getting in touch with some better companies so I can, I guess, improve my how I build them and just, I guess, build better stuff and come back next year or the year after that or something like that.
Yeah, give yourself a break. So you're civil engineering, I think you said?
Yeah, I go to ASU. So right now I guess I'm technically a junior. So really I've been building these in the summer. So now I guess I have an internship lined up over next summer. So now I have to find time, and after that and working and doing that kind of stuff to build my next one. But
well, and you and your brother, right? I mean, and your dad, right? So is this something that you would maybe want to open up a shop, or do you just want to keep this kind of a fun side thing?
I guess it depends because, I guess right now we are I solely built this truck. Bryce solely built this truck, and then my dad had his project, and then he has another project. He has a couple projects, but
dads have a lot of projects.
Yeah, you know that. So, yeah, but we'll see how it goes. We got to get through school first, then we'll figure out what we really want to do with everything. But it's definitely a fun hobby, and we'll never stop doing it. And
you grew up in it. What would you say was one of the hardest parts? Was struggle, anything really kicking your butt on it?
I would just say doing it in the time frame I did it in and how much paint there is, because I painted from top to bottom of it, so there's just a lot of paint. My fingers hurt doing it day in, day out, 15-hour days. That's a lot of sanding, and I don't like body work per se, but got to do it.
I don't think only evil people like body work. I don't blame you on that. So your recipe is amazing. I love the color combo. I love the stance, frame, everything really kind of came together. How about shakedown? Have you had any time to shake it down?
I haven't driven it a whole lot because I guess I've been in school, but it cruises really nice. I had a couple issues with doing setting up the whole connect and cruise setup with the transmission because I wasn't able to get a GM tranny at the time. Then I was able to find a 4x4 one because they're just getting motors, parts is a big issue right now. So finding that kind of stuff was a little hard, but we worked through it and was able to get it done.
All right, so next up, you're going to take both trucks to the get down. You and your brother, you're going to represent, and then we're going to make sure he gets one of them chips, those Dino's Top 100 chips for both trucks. They're both amazing. I think it's awesome. Tyler, thank you for doing what you're doing. And really, at the end of the day, just so you hear it, and I'm sure you've heard it throughout the week, but it's young guys like you that are going to keep this thing going and this movement going. And when we know that there's young talent out there that can do this kind of stuff and produce this kind of trucks, our future looks really good. So thanks for all your hard work, and congratulations on an awesome SEMA showcase, really.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. We're going to interview Bryce now, I think.
All right.
We've got Bryce Adams, part 2 of the Adams family here. and he's got a 84.
83.
83. We've got some stereos just letting it loose because we're at the end of SEMA, so we'll work on the audio. But Bryce, tell us about your 83.
So I bought it, I'd say the beginning of this year. I took it up to Phoenix to work on it for about a month in February. I did engine bake, so I cut out the firewall, replaced it with a Slosh Subs firewall. I did all the door gaps, gapped the tailgate, shaved the core support, did all the work I didn't want to do, all the quick work, right? Gapped the doors, and then I roughed in the body, worked the metal back straight, and then I roughed in the body work, and then it came home to Tucson to start work over the summer. But in that period before summer, we took Tyler's truck up and worked on it for a little bit.
So most college kids, you're also in college, you're 19, are out partying and having a good time, and you guys are just in the garage going to town.
Yeah, we actually have a frat house just next door, so that makes it a little interesting. But yeah, no, that's what we do. We're cutting bedsides down right now for a 71 we're doing.
Sounds like you need to get the frat boys over, get some beer, and put them to work, man.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know.
All right, so you guys both take on builds. You end up at SEMA. You both made top 40 for Battle of the Builders.
Correct. Yep.
This thing is a stunner. How'd you pick out the color? Was this original color?
No, this is actually a BMW Space Gray. I saw it on a Barrett Jackson truck. I'm like, I gotta find that color, and I saw it in one of their ads, and I'm like, okay, that's the color. I bought the Corsart wheels, and it worked out, right? And I was a little worried about that, and I thought I might be changing some wheels, but it actually ended up working out. And the white's just a linen white.
What motor?
I actually built it's a 5.3. I had all the machine work done for it, and I put it together with Summit internal. So Summit cam, pistons. It's got 243, 799 heads on it, and then it's running Phytech.
Okay, you've got a great stance with this truck. What kind of chassis work have you done?
So it's stock chassis. It's sitting on a 4-link that modified. So I bought a 4-link off eBay. I shortened the bars along with the panhard bar. It's C-notched, obviously. I boxed the C-notch, right? And then I put a support brace to connect the two C-notches to stiffen it. And then I built mounting tabs for the coilovers to mount right on the C-notch, so it's real clean. And then along with the front end, it's sitting on, obviously, coilovers up front. So it's pole performance, but...
Parts online, POL?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, so when I got it, it was like a squatted truck, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work, obviously. So I contacted Alden American, and they worked with me, and I got a shorter coilover, so it was an inch shorter. And it still didn't get the front end down to tuck and rim, and I wanted to go a bit lower, so I cut the bottom bracket out of the mount and dropped the lower coilover mount at about an inch, and that gave me the look we're looking at today.
It's got the Bryce stance to it. How big are these wheels? Because those back wheels look a little meaty.
So they're 22 by 10s out back, I'm pretty sure. And then they're 305s, and then they're 265 up front. So
you got some Relicate inserts going on in the interior. The interior really came together, and it kind of blended it all together with your paint and your wheel combo.
Yeah, so I bought the truck. It had the TMI seat in it, and it was all black. So where I put the plaid, it was black. And then I found some TMI door panels, and I was able to get them. So I went with that, went with the Relicate plaid insert, and then the dash is just an OEM dash that I had stitched for it.
Oh, it looks good. What was your hardest part?
The time frame. So, making that 5-month, essentially a summer to do paint, body, suspension.
School,
yeah,
frat parties.
Yeah, something like that. But
well, you guys pulled it off. You're going to go to Dino's?
Yeah, we'll be at Dino's, and we'll be at Good Guys. So
got a busy 3 weeks, so SEMA, the Get Down, Good Guys, congratulations on everything you guys have done. Thanks for taking time. Beautiful truck. Have safe travels home, brother.
Well, thank you.
There you go. Remember, I'll have some videos up on YouTube and some social media platforms as well, IG and Facebook, that correspond with these interviews, so you can see the trucks, you can see some of the B-roll that we grab, and really get that that full experience. You get the pod, you get the interview, you get to see the vehicles, and that's what we're shooting for. So head over to YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow, check out some of the corresponding videos, and we hope you enjoy the pod. And we'll be back with more from the Get Down. Take care, guys.